Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.
Hello. Hello. Hi, welcome everyone.
Hello, welcome.
Hi, Emily. Good evening. And Lisa, it's great to have you with us. It's good to have everybody tuned in today, and I'm glad I hope you're doing good. I hope life is going okay for you as Venus and Mercury are now done doing their retrograde. Hi, Danielle Van in the group. Vaughn.
Hello.
It's good to feel the energy starting to move forward, right? Hi, Tisha.
Hello.
Renee. Elaine. Hi, Carrie.
Hey, Carrie.
Hi, Chelsea.
Oh.
Hi, Heather. Welcome, everyone. It's good to have you with us today. Seems like lots of new names. I appreciate all of you for tuning in today. Today we're going to do, Sarah's going to do some spirit-led readings. I hope that you've enjoyed this week's lives, and we've been doing a lot of fun stuff. And just in case you didn't get the message, we have created a Discord server, or Discord is just another type of social media where we can meet, and we'd like to someday start doing some lives on there. So we're trying to gather everyone that likes to have like live psychic readings, that type of thing. Astrology, everything will pretty much be in that group. We just simply named it Mystics. Okay. So it's just Mystics. It's just Mystics, so you can join us there if you'd like, if you use Discord. I'm going to put the link here in the chat, in the messages, so everyone can, if you have Discord, please join us over there. We'd love to have you. And, if you're the type of person, a lot of people are moving away from Facebook for a variety of reasons. So so we honor that. And I like Discord because there's a video and audio options, and plus plenty of text options for you to ask questions, post pictures, and the whole nine. Okay. We're just getting built up over there, so I hope you join us. Hi, Nana in the group, and Julie Ridzig. Hi, Linda. Welcome. We're glad you're with us. Hi, Candace and Megan. It's good to see you. So if you look in the chat, you'll see that I just posted the link to the Discord server. Okay. All right. Well, we're starting to, all right. So Sarah, why don't you go ahead and explain what spirit-led readings and who you are? Okay.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to have each and every one of you here tonight. I'm so excited. So I do spirit-led readings. That just means that whichever loved one in spirit would like to come forward, I give a description of how they look. sometimes they'll give me personality traits or something that they would be recognized by. So if someone, say, liked basketball and I don't know, sushi was their favorite food, I would give that kind of information. Sometimes I get songs. When I usually get songs, I find that it either has something to do with their favorite song or something that you two shared together. And then sometimes the message is just in the lyric. So when that usually happens, I notice that I'll bring up the song, and sometimes people are like, oh, I can't take that. But if they keep on persisting, I say, well, you know what? Just take a moment afterwards, listen to it, because I feel that the message is in the lyrics in that sense. So because it's spirit-led readings, your job is to just listen carefully, and anything that you can resonate with, whether it be how they looked or their personality traits, just anything at all, please speak up and put in the chat, like, oh, I can take how they look. And we'll just keep going on that way until I can figure out who your loved one is. Sorry, I don't know why I explained it like that. Anyways, I always like to start by explaining how I became on my mediumship journey. So as a child, I was able to hear spirits. To me, it sounded like whispered conversations, but because I was a child, I didn't really do much about it. So growing up, I would still hear once in a while, but again, didn't do anything. And then in November of 2021, our family got the COVID virus. It was really devastating. And unfortunately, my son didn't make it from the complications. He passed away from COVID complications at 20 years old. He was a month shy of his 21st birthday. It happened very sudden, very, very quickly. The day before, he was actually sitting up in bed and playing on his Wii U. And I thought, oh, good, he's getting better. And the next day, he just crashed hard and fast. And just like everyone else here, you're devastated. You don't know what to do. And that's how I felt. And I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to hear from him again, or all those thoughts that run through your mind. And then I remembered, hey, I could hear spirits. So I did the best thing that I knew how, and that was I learned how to open up, to hear better, to get more messages. And I remember finding this group, Mediumship Communicating with the Dead, Grief and Loss, and that's where I met Hollis Taylor, and I did their discovery meeting. And I remember telling Hollis about how I wanted to learn to be a medium. And Hollis wasn't the first medium that I brought this up to. I had an in-person reading before at a psychic mediumship fair where I live. And I remember that medium, even though she did bring my son through, she had that notion that either you're born with it or you're not. Well, we're all born with the ability. It's just you have to trust in yourself. And that's what Hollis taught me, was to trust and believe in myself, and to believe in what I'm receiving and seeing. And Hollis taught me to not only trust in myself, but to trust in my son for the signs that he was giving. And believe me, he was strong. That first night after he passed, I remember sitting on the couch with my daughters, and I remember looking down the hallway, and I noticed his bedroom door was open, and I was getting ready to go close it, and the light was already off, and I heard it sounded like someone flicked the light switch, and I saw the light go on, and I was like, looking, and I looked to my side and I was like, no, we're all in the living room. And then it switched off. And then I thought to say, I said, Jonah, and it switched on again. And that was his way of saying, Mom, I'm here. And I trusted in that. And now, if everyone noticed on my link, it says Sarah Redcrow -2. And I remember when Hollis was making me my link, it would not work without the -2. And at first we couldn't get like why. And then Hollis said, of course, because Jonah helps you. And that's very true. My son helps me by bringing your loved ones to our meetings. You know, he showed me during the lives that he'll stand, and my son, even though he was 20, he's never been to a bar or a club or anything like that. So I find it unique because he'll show me him standing and he has his suit on, and my son loved fedoras, so he was wearing a fedora, and he has, it looks like a velvet rope. So as your loved one's coming through, he like kind of lets them in one by one. And it brings me joy because I get to see him, but also it brings me peace because I get to help each and every one of you to know that it's not goodbye. I'm here to help you say hello again. And that's what all of us mediums do, is to help you say hello, to let you know that they are still very much there. So before we start, I always show a picture of my son so you can get an idea of who else is helping, not just me. So this is my son, Jonah. He was about, I want to say 17, possibly 18 in this picture. Anyways, we were walking home one day and this butterfly here, yeah, that, it landed on his shoulder and it just stayed there. I also have a picture because I remember just before we were going to go walk up to the house, it did go from his shoulder to his hand. So I have a picture of him holding this butterfly in his hand as well. And I thought it was such a beautiful moment. And he's my everything. I was 15 when I had him, and we literally grew up together. Anyways, let's start. Oh, I also like to say, don't feel discouraged if your loved one doesn't come through tonight. It doesn't mean that they're not around you. Sometimes they just prefer to be more private, especially if they're more private in the physical world. A lot of times my son wouldn't come through any of the live readings either. I would jump on every and each one that I could, hoping. And it wasn't until this one, and afterwards, it was with Stacy Siegel Brickley, and it was her live, and my son did come through. He showed himself as a 7-year-old boy. So that's another thing. Our loved ones can show themselves at any age. They usually do this because it's an age that they felt most at peace, or it was just fun. So again, that's like a part in listening, because sometimes it could be like your grandmother coming through and she's showing me herself when she was in her 20s. But usually when that happens, they'll give key things to, like, it's me. Anyways, but afterwards, Stacy said, your son has more to say to you. Do you mind if we go private after the live? And I said, of course. And that's when I found out that my son was more of a private person, that he'd rather do a private reading than, as he said it, perform in front of a big crowd. So I like to bring that up just to let you know that don't be discouraged, and feel free to ask your loved one while you're waiting to please step forward. And yeah, let's just, have fun. And I hope that you can get the reading and the message that you need. I'm sending you all my love and light, and I ask you for your permission to work with your energy and that of your loved ones. And let's begin. So I do have a lady stepping forward. How she presents herself to me, she's taller. I would put her maybe about between 5'6", 5'7". She's very thin build, almost reminds me like willowy. Like she reminds me almost like a fairy. She just has that essence about her. Her hair is very long, kind of comes to her hips. It's brown. She's showing me her in this like loose fitting dress. It almost like looks like a crochet dress. The sleeves kind of come like up to here. But, oops, sorry. I'm still getting used to the camera. Here, and they're a little bit longer, so like a bell sleeve. When she smiles, it reaches like up to her eyes. Like she just has the kindest look on her face, very demure, and just you look at her and you just get this sense of peace. When I look at her eyes, they're almost like a bright blue. I do feel that she really loved being in nature. She's showing me her walking, and it honestly looks kind of like like fields on each side of her, and there's like a walking path. But these fields, I see tall grass and different wildflowers, and I do notice she is not wearing shoes. I feel that she really liked just to feel the earth. Like she's very natural. Would anybody be able to recognize her? She is showing me too that she used to make those daisy chain, like either headbands. She knew how to like weave. She's showing me her weaving flowers and like either placing it like a headband on her head. I do feel that she knew how to use different plants and stuff from nature. Like I said, I get a very naturalist from her. Would anybody be able to recognize her? So I'll just do a quick recap. So this lady, she's taller, thin build. I would put her between 5'6" and 5'7". To me, she looks like she was maybe in her later 40s, maybe early 50s. So Tandy Wall says, could be my best friend. Okay, Tandy. What can you take from her? So I'll just continue with describing her again. I do feel that she's very natural. So she had longer, straight brown hair. It kind of came to her hips. She has the prettiest blue eyes that I've ever seen. She has this look of total peace and relaxation on her face. I do feel that she loved being in nature, very natural. She was showing me her walking along like a path. I feel it was like either I can see long, tall grass and flowers. I do notice that she was not wearing shoes. The outfit she showed me, it looked like almost like a white cream colored long dress. It looked crocheted, but I do feel that there must have been like some like another um material underneath, because you can't see through it, but you do notice like the crochet, and it has like bell type sleeves, so it's like kind of tighter, and then like it goes looser on the bottom. She was showing me that she knew how to like weave flowers, particularly daisies. That was she showing me, and then she could either like make a crown or like a necklace. I do get from her that she would be able to go into the woods and like collect. She knew certain herbs and flowers and plants that you could either use safely for medicine or just to eat. So Tandy Swall says barefoot all the time. Okay. She was very hippie. Yes, that's what I get from her, long hair and skinny. She was really about like just peace. And so she was saying, would you understand that she was like really into meditation, and she was saying that even when things are hard or someone like makes you angry, it's better to just like meditate on it and then let it go. I do feel that she was like maybe in her mid 40s, early 50s, but she looked young. Like she looked good for her age. And she's saying it's because of clean living and being one with the earth. Would you understand that, Tandy? So as she was showing me her hands, because I noticed she was like kind of going like this, and oh, she always made daisy hair things. Oh, she lived in the redwoods. Did she also have? Because I do feel that she wasn't really big into jewelry, but she is showing me. It looks like I do feel it was like homemade, or might not have been from her, but it looks like a silver ring, and then I see like a huge turquoise stone in the middle. Would you be able to recognize that? So I do feel that I am with for Tandy. Um, she was wanting to let you know that there is life still in the afterlife, is how she's saying it. She's saying for you to, she says, I know that she's not like me, that would like that you would really be walking barefoot and that, but for you to not let things get to you. She says you need to learn to, she says, inhale the bad, and then she said, blow it out, let it go. Would you understand that? So Tandy Wall says, oh my gosh, yes. Okay. She was just saying, she goes, I hear her talk to me. She says, okay, so would you understand? Do you have wind chimes? Or at odd times, like, so when she says, like, she talks, and then all of a sudden she makes me hear like wind chimes. It's like almost reminds me of, if you ever seen like Peter Pan and like the original, and when Tinkerbell talked, you'd hear like the bells or like the little chimes sounds. So I'm getting from her, I feel that that is like a sign from her to you, that if you hear like that chiming, and I want to say like wind chimes, or like it just bells, but not like the, I wish I could explain it better, but I do feel that that's one of her signs for you. So Tandy Wall says that is totally her. Aw, that's so sweet. She says that you two were thick as thieves, and she would you understand her saying that so Tandy says she loved that turquoise ring. She is still wearing it. She's just showing me. She's like, I got it. It's not going off me. So Tandy Wall says, just this morning she rang the heart chime in my room. Oh, that is so sweet. She was just saying that even though for you being opposite, that you guys had that a bond like no other. She says that they so sorry, I'm just trying to like hear her. She's kind of talking low and fast. But she says the bond that you guys have, it was thicker than blood, but free like water. I really hope you understand what she means by that. She is just such a lovely person, and she wants you to know that she's never far from you. Would you understand her calling you beautiful, beautiful girl? Because that's how she was just referring how she feels about you. She calls you my beautiful, beautiful girl. She just, would you understand her saying like about things when she described things, she'd be like, oh, that's so lovely. She's it's funny because I know you said about the heart chime in your room, and she was telling you that to listen to your heart. She says that even though that sometimes people say that the heart could lead you astray, but if you were to actually, she says, dig deep, and she closes her eyes and goes like that. She goes, if you dig deep, and she goes, you really listen. She goes, your heart will lead you on the right path. She does want to let you know that she is very proud of the accomplishments that you have been making, and for you to know that she's never very far off from you. She says, listen to the bells. I do feel that, you know how some spirit can flicker lights, like how I said in the beginning with my son. I feel for her that hers would be more natural. So how I heard the wind chimes, she's still sticking to her roots, I feel. I just want to thank her for coming in, and thank you. So Tandy says she would call me her alligator and I would call her my crocodile. Oh, that's cute. And it's funny because a lot of people get scared of alligators and crocodiles, but they're resilient, ancient, and beautiful animals. And she goes, just like us. Oh, so Tandy Wall says, my kid's last name that she loves is Bell. Oh, that is so sweet. Would you understand her saying that your kids were like her kids? So I feel, did she not? I feel that like she wasn't able to have children. Oh, Candy says you keep mentioning Belle. Yes, because she keeps on bringing up bells to me. But I'm starting to feel like once you mentioned your children, that maybe that's why she was doing it for me, is that she wanted to, she's saying pay homage to your children. She said that they were such a joy. They really like lit her they lit up her day when she did get to be around them. She just has such a gentle soul to her and kindness. But she's letting me know, she goes, "Don't be fooled by my gentle, kind nature." She says she did have a backbone and she knew how to stand up for herself. She was just saying that sometimes because people would see that gentleness about her, that they would underestimate her, and she would say they'd be blown away when she like had to put her foot down. She's just letting you know, she goes, "It's good to be gentle, but it's good to be feisty. You have to keep a good balance of both." So I just want to thank her for coming in tonight, and thanking you, Tandy, for being here to receive the message and for validating. It always like brings my heart joy when people can validate. So thank you both. She is blowing you kisses, and she goes, "Bye." And she goes, it's funny because she says bye and then she turns around, she goes, "But I won't be far." She says, I'm just moving the line along. So thank you both. So I do have a gentleman stepping forward. Oh, sorry. So Tandy Wall says, was she happy that I put her ashes in the ocean? She says, of course, that was her wish. She's saying that you fulfilled her wish. She's saying that she's parts of the turtles and the dolphins. She mentions even like the great shark. She loved all sorts of creatures. She says even the scary ones have their purpose in life. And she says that thank you, because now she can be part of that that each animal that comes in contact with her ashes as they floated free, she's a part of them. And you're so welcome. So this gentleman who's stepping forward, he looks to be, I want to say maybe mid-50s. He's taller, broad shoulders. He's a little bit on the heavier side. He has darker brown hair. He's wearing dark frame glasses. He's showing me when he smiles. He keeps showing me like he would get like rosy cheeked. I feel that might be a way for someone to know who he is. He's showing me that even though on the side of his hair looks pretty thick, on top it was like slowly going thinner, but he would kind of like overcomb it. When he smiles, you see all his teeth. How he's showing me what he's wearing. He's wearing it looks like a dress shirt, and I see the collar, and then it looks like one of those like sweater vests, and he's wearing gray dress pants, and I see like almost like loafer type shoes. They're black, and he'd keep them shiny. He shows me him wearing a gold wedding band. So his dress shirt, it was that he's showing me, it's white, it's short sleeve, and then the vest, it's like a darker steel gray. It matches his dress pants. For him, I do feel, so JR says, any tattoos? And what's his eye color? Okay. So when I do look at his face, his eyes, they look brown to me, kind of a darker brown. I'm just asking, sir, do you have any tattoos? When I asked him if he had any tattoos, he shakes his head no. I do feel that he was a businessman, always on the go, is what he's saying. Um, he's he's really good natured, so he draws my attention, and I do feel that he might have had some issues with digestion because he shows me again like he's a little bit heavier set, but not overweight. But he shows me him like eating something, and then it's like his stomach would get really hard and balloon out. He said that he did have he doesn't call them food allergies, but he says that food disagreed with him a lot. But I do feel that because of his how he's showing me always on the go, that he might have had issues with his stomach due to stress. So like he's telling me that he how he says it, he says he fancied like a good salad and like home cooked meals, but because I do feel that for his job that he was always like in the car traveling, so he did eat a lot more fast food. And he shows me him constantly like popping like antacids or like we call it Tums. He does show me that he was also a family man, but he does say that a lot of times he would be so busy on the road for his work that he didn't get to spend as much time with his wife and children. He shows me a woman. She's slender build. Her hair comes to just below her ears, and it's kind of like a honey brown color, kind of lighter brown with some blondish, like goldish blonde highlights. And then he's showing me a younger girl. She looks to be maybe about 12, and she has like longer dark hair. And then I also see a boy that is a little bit younger than her, and his hair is more like his mother's. Would anybody be able to recognize this gentleman? I do feel that even though the outfit that he is showing me now, I feel that that had to do more with work because he's also showing me him at home. And so Candace Camacho says, was he very religious? I could ask him. So I'm not too sure about very religious, but he showed me that he's bringing me to a living room, and I see it looks like kind of like those easy chairs, like the lounger chairs, and I see a little wooden desk beside, like a end table. And when you pull out the drawer, like he did have a Bible in there, but I don't feel like he was overly religious. But he's saying that yes, faith was a big part of their household. I do feel that he did try to live a good life as best he could. It was just for him, it was more, he was busy. So Annie Miller said, did he smoke? Sir, did you smoke while you're alive? So he's laughing. He goes, in my younger years, he did have the habit, but I do feel that when his children were born, that's when he like, no more. He was saying that in his younger years, he did the typical things that all of us do. He said that, he was showing me him in a football uniform and like going to parties. So the outfit that he's showing me, I want to say that it looked like kind of late 70s, maybe 80s era. And then as he was showing me, like when his kids were born, it looked more like in the 90s. And then he was telling me that when he was young, yes, he did, the typical stuff, the smoking, the party. But then as he got older, and especially once he made a family for himself, that he really focused on trying to like give his children he says, a good upbringing. Would anybody be able to recognize him? So Kit says, could it be from not right before he died? Like he fits descriptions of him like before he got sick. How he was showing me. So Kit says, football uniform, rings, true. Could he have another child too? And he traveled a lot. So let's ask him. Sir, can you show me how many children you have? So he is showing me a daughter. I do feel that she's the oldest, and then I see a boy. The girl she has her mother's face, but she has like dark hair like her dad. The boy, he's kind of like a mix of both of them, and his hair is lighter like his mom. And then I do feel, because he was showing me one more, and I do feel that this child is a boy. I feel that he came later on in their life, so he seems a lot younger than the older two. He said that when he was at home, he did try to make his family like a big priority. So he was like he tried to be like that hands-on dad. I see him helping like his child learn how to ride the bike without the training wheels. Would you understand that? So I see the driveway, and it seems like they had a little bit of steeper driveway, and I see him like running behind, especially the youngest boy. He's wearing a helmet. The bike, it looks almost like, I want to say, Spider-Man design on it. And I see him like holding and running down there with this boy and letting him go. And he's just like, I from him, I get this, like he holds his breath, like, you can do it. So Kit says, it sounds like my dad, but I have another sister, so maybe not. And Kit, do you have 2 brothers? So is there 4 of you all together? So Kit says, my dad was very hands-on when home, and he dressed up for work and other things fit, but I have a sister too. I'm just going to ask him, what else? Oh, just one brother. What else could you take? Or if anyone else can take anything from this gentleman, I'll just do a quick little recap. So the age that he was showing me, I would put him mid-50s, maybe almost in his 60s. He was tall, broad shoulders. He wears glasses. He has brown eyes. his glasses that he's showing me were kind of darker framed. His hair is quite dark. It started kind of going thinner on top, and he'd kind of overcomb it. And I do feel that he tried to be like healthy, but where he was constantly on the go, on the road, that he did eat a lot of fast food. I do feel that he did suffer from some stomach issues, because he was showing me that even though he wasn't in the best shape, he wasn't like overweight, but he was showing me that he would eat and then his stomach would almost like bloat and get really hard. So Kit says, ask him if any of his kids have passed. And just one brother. Sarah, do you have any children in spirit with you? So when I asked him if he had any children in spirit with him, um, so he is showing me a girl. Or is this your daughter? She looks to be in her teens. She had about shoulder length hair. It was a little bit lighter in color. When I see her, so her hair is about shoulder length, and I see she had bangs. She's very pretty, thin build. She's showing me her wearing a dress. It almost reminds me of like an Easter dress. It's a lighter gray, and I see like pink flowers on it. So Kimmy Atkinson says, sounds like Peter. They called him Shaky. He had health problems in stomach, but he took his own life. I'm sorry, Kimmy. So this gentleman, he is showing me a girl with him. She looks to be about around 16. She has shoulder length, lighter brown hair, very big, expressive eyes. They're brown like his. I feel like from her that she was kind of shy, because she stands there and I see her hands kind of behind her back, and she keeps kind of looking down and biting on her bottom lip. The dress she is wearing, it's a lighter gray color, and I see like little light pink flowers all over it. Would anybody be able to recognize this girl with him? So it says, it would not be for me. My brother has passed recently. I'm sorry, Kit. So, and then Kimmy says, sounds like Peter. They called him Shaky. I don't feel that he took his life. I do feel that so when I mentioned about how I didn't feel he took his life, he was like kind of putting his hand on his chest. So I do feel that he might have like had a heart attack, because I was feeling tightening in my chest. And then I was just asking him if the girl he was showing me was his daughter, but I feel that she was more a niece to him. So I do feel that he does have 3 children, a girl and 2 boys. The first 2 are closer in age, and the younger one was, I hear him say surprise. So like, I feel that he was born later, and that he was like the surprise baby, where they thought, okay, our kids are getting bigger. Would anybody be able to recognize him or this girl? And I'll just ask them if he has any messages. So he's just saying that he just wanted to pop in and let his family know that he is okay. He was putting his hand on his stomach and he was just saying that I'm good. He says that he doesn't have that pain anymore in his stomach. He just wants you to know that he is very much around you and he loves you very much. So I'm just going to thank him for stepping forward, and I'm going to see if there's anyone else here who would like to step forward tonight. Oh, thank you, sir. So I do have a young lady stepping forward. I would put her maybe in her mid-20s, early 30s. She is giving me very like her sense of style. I could only put it like rockabilly style. Like she has like that kind of 1950s like hairdo. Her hair's in a ponytail. Her hair is really dark. She is showing me her wearing like very dark red lipstick, and she shows me her having tattoos. So her one arm is like literally from the shoulder down. She shows me that she really admired like that 1950s pinup look. She's petite. She's no more than like maybe 5'2" in height. From her, she has this like really bubbly attitude. I was not afraid to speak her mind. She shows me that right on her, like above her heart, she has, it looks like a sparrow tattoo. So like I see these two sparrows and then a banner with a heart. She really loved like the vintage stuff, the especially 1950s. Like a lot of her tattoos that I see, they kind of remind me of like that old school sailor tattoos. She was showing me that she would often wear sunglasses that were like white framed. She was big on chewing bubble gum, so she was like showing me her chewing bubble gum and like making these like big huge bubbles. Would anybody be able to recognize her? She's also showing me that from what I feel from her, like she knew how to, she loved cars, like muscle cars, and she knew her way around an engine. Like she was showing me, it looks like a car show. So I see like all these old vintage model cars, and it's like they're parked side by side and everyone has like their hoods up, and she would be able to like literally go and tell you like the make, the model, like everything. She knew cars inside and out. And she says it was like kind of like her party trick, because she said that she would love to like, especially, you know, when there's a group of guys or something and they're like, oh yeah, talking shop, and they see her and are just blown away because of her knowledge of vehicles. Would anybody be able to recognize her? So Laura says, my friend Terry had a lot of tattoos. Okay, Terry. Laura, sorry. Would you be able to take her sense of style, like really almost like that pinup 1950s look. So she shows me like with bright red lipstick, and she would do like literally pin up makeup. And would you be able to recognize the two sparrow tattoos with the banner and the heart? And a lot of her tattoos, they kind of have, they give that vintage like sailor vibes. And her hair was dark. It looks black to me, but I almost kind of feel like she might have dyed it. And her knowledge of like cars was literally it unbelievable. Like I just feel like from her, she she's had this knowledge of not only, it's like she says that she had knowledge in her head that a lot of people would be like, you're a girl, like what are you, like why do you know about this? So she was like showing me like the vintage cars, and then she says that she was not a helpless damsel in distress, that she knew her way around. She goes, she keeps mentioning cars, but she's like, anything a man could do, she could do, is what she's saying. So I feel that she had like a very independent personality as well. She's very pretty. I would put her like maybe 5'2", petite. So Holly said, was she a dancer? And then, so Laura says a lot of, and then red lips. So do you, Laura, do you mean like she liked red lipstick? Was 62 when she passed. Okay. And she's 5'2" like me. Would you, did she like that vintage like 1950s look? Because how she's showing me her age, I would put her later 20s, maybe early 30s. And then as for the other question about was she a dancer? Um, so she says, I could shake it like the best of them, babe. So I'm not too sure if so when I find it interesting that she said babe. So I feel that that's how she would like address people, like, hey babe. It, for her, it wasn't like, you know how if a couple and would be where you would like address like your boyfriend, husband, or whatever as like babe. For her, she just called everyone babe. So Laura says yes. So Laura, you were saying yes to the red lipstick. Um, so she was just saying again, because she was addressing like the question about dancing, and she was kind of going like this. She's like, I can shimmy and I can shake. um, she was just saying, she goes that she was like the whole package. She's very confident in herself. So let's see. Okay, so Holly said, a lot of this resonates to my sister, but I'm not 100% sure. She was very petite and beautiful. And Holly, did your sister have like a lot of tattoos, especially on her? I feel it more on her right arm. It was like, it looks like a sleeve, and just, I just keep on getting like she loved like the vintage. And Holly says, and definitely had more confidence than anyone I've ever known. So just sent a picture for her daughter from dance. Sorry. So, and with the age, Holly, did your sister pass between, I want to say later 20s, maybe early 30s? And I do feel that a key thing for her is her pretty much calling everyone babe. Like, you got it, babe, or what are you doing, babe? Just quirky. Like, her personality was quirky and just. So Holly says, yes, she had a lot of tattoos, and I have one in memory of her. She was 32. Would you, so would you understand, because she keeps on bringing me back to this sparrow. It looks like two sparrows, and they're like holding a banner in their beaks, and then I see a heart. Would you, I do feel from her that that particular tattoo is significant. Would you be able to understand the meaning behind it or recognize it, Holly? Sorry. So Holly said, it's not one that she has, but our aunt had one similar. Okay. So I do feel that I am more drawn to you, Holly. Um, would you understand? Because as soon as I read that part, she like kind of does this, like she does this jump, and she's like shaking her hands like this, like, oh my God. She goes, I hear I'm recognized. She recognizes me. So she was like really vocal as well. Would you understand that, Holly? She's she's saying to you, she says, I'm here, babe. She's like, I hear you. She's like, I'm good. She's giving me thumbs up. She wants you to, she says, you have to be brave. She goes, I know that my passing was devastating because you and her, you guys shared that sister bond, but it was like more, it was deeper. Um, she's just saying, she goes, live life to the fullest. Don't be afraid to tell people what they need to hear, even though it's hard. So when she says that, I'm getting the indication that she says that you're the soft one, the polite one, that you were always telling her, like, you can't say that. Like, you got to think how that would make them feel. And she was like, oh, they'll get over it. That was her attitude. She was very kind-hearted, though, in kind-hearted but blunt. So she was just saying, she goes, don't be afraid to tell people what they need to hear, even if it's hard. She goes, because life isn't always sunshine and rainbows. And if people don't hear what they need to hear, even if it's a hard truth. She says that we're not doing them any favors. I hope you can understand that. She was just saying that she loves you so very much. So Holly says she definitely spoke her mind. It was funny because like when she was like saying how much you meant to her and still do, she goes, okay, she says, enough of that mushy stuff. She goes, my sister knows how I feel about her. She goes, I just wanted her to know that I am okay. She says, I do hear her. She mentions your mother. So she says, I hear her. I hear mom. She goes, she said, I didn't leave you. She goes, I'm always around. I know. So she was showing me, was one of her things. So she keeps on showing me the red lipstick, and then she shows me her either grabbing someone by their face and like leaving a big lipstick print on their face, or she had a habit also, if she was in the bathroom or if she saw a mirror, she'd like kiss it and leave like her mark. Would you understand that? And I hope you understand why she's showing me. So Holly says that's crazy because I have recently became very much like her with telling people about themselves. Laugh out loud. She says, good. She's like, you came, she says you're finally coming into your own. And then she literally bows and she's like, welcome. So Holly says, definitely the bathroom kisses. It was like her calling card, that lipstick mark. Would you understand also why she's showing me, you know, the old Disney movie Alice in Wonderland? She shows me the part where Alice is like literally falling down the rabbit hole, and I see her like looking around because it's funny. She shows me that scene in the cartoon, but then all of a sudden she switches it so she's Alice, as I see her like just like looking around as she's like falling down and seeing like the upside down tables and everything. I really hope you can understand why she's showing that to me. She just says that life is literally a trip, like you're always falling down different rabbit holes, but you, just like Alice, you have to be brave and find your way home. She says, and just like Alice, don't be afraid to be adventurous. She was saying that she really admired that movie just for the fact that, you know, Alice is just this little girl and she's in Wonderland. But instead of getting like scared, she was just like, okay, let's find our way out of here. She was just telling you, she goes, you know, be like Alice, be adventurous. She says, don't be afraid to wander from home. She's like, because you'll always find your way back. So Holly says, because she unfortunately has fallen down some rabbit holes. You know, when I read that, she was just she was nodding and she goes, yeah, that's true. She says that, but if I wouldn't have fallen down some of those holes, she says, I wouldn't have became stronger in the end. She says that she wants you to know that everything that you have done for her and continue to do for her she's so proud of you. She says, even the things that you do since she has passed. She says that even though to you it might not be in homage, that's what she says, of herself, but in a way she sees it as something that you do for her. Like, so she says every time when you yourself get into that dark spot of just missing her, you find your way out of it. And she's so proud of you. She says, stay strong. I love you. She says, and I'll see you on the flip side. She says, I just want you to know that I'm okay. She says, I found my way home again. She's giving you so much kisses and love. And just know that she's never very far from you. I just want to thank you, Holly, for being here tonight. And I want to thank your sister for coming through. And don't be afraid to be adventurous. And you'll find your way home. We always do. I'm just going to see if I have anyone else here. So I do have a oh, you're welcome. So Holly said thank you. So you're welcome so much. I do have a gentleman stepping forward. He looks to me, he's taller. I would put him maybe about 6. I would say about 6'2". He's really tall. He has it looks like dirty blonde hair, and he had a little bit longer, so it came like a little bit below his ears. He's thin build. When he smiles, you see all his teeth, and like right here, he has one tooth missing. As I said that, he right away closed his mouth, so I do feel he might have been a little bit self-conscious about it. I honestly, I love his smile, because like when he smiles, his whole face lights up. He's very easygoing mannered. He's, like I said, he's tall, thinner build. He's showing me him wearing a t-shirt, and then I see like a leather jacket, jeans, and he's showing me they look like work boots, or maybe even like those kind of biker boots. They're black leather. He shows me him wearing a necklace, a man's necklace. It looks like silver, and then he has a cross, a silver cross. But this cross, it's not like the traditional ones. It kind of, hold on, I'll see if I can draw it. He's laughing at me because he's like, okay. He's like, sure, my cross looks like that. So okay, everyone can laugh at my drawing, but oops, it looks like this, and it has like black markings and a little black stone in the middle. He's also showing me, it looks like a Harley motorcycle, but the older model. So I do feel that he really enjoyed riding that. Very good nature. For him, he does smoke, because I can smell, like as he comes closer, I can like really smell cigarette smoke on him. He just says, he goes, he tried to kick the habit, but he's been smoking for so long. I'm just going to see if he can show me anything else to recognize. He does show me that he does have a hand tattoo. So, you know, those tattoos that were really popular where it looked like a skull face, and you can put it on your face like that. So that's how this tattoo looks to me. He was saying that he got it when he was younger. So he looks to be, I want to say like maybe in his 40s, maybe 50s. But he said that he got that when he was in his 20s, where he was trying to be cool. But then he goes, how ridiculous, all of us were just supposed to walk around like this all day. So he does have a really good sense of humor. With him, I feel that he was a jack of all trades. Like, he knew how to fix anything from, like, say, mechanical work to, he says that he could like build you, he says, I could build you a deck or a fence. He says that he was always willing to help out other people. Would anybody be able to recognize him? Again, he's very tall. I would put him about 6'2". He has a little bit longer, dirty blonde hair, comes just below his ears. So Seashell says, I had a godfather named Ale, and he was with a black leather coat and his boots. So sorry, Mama Cole says, I couldn't see your first. So Mama Cole says, it sounds like my Uncle David. Would you understand? So Mama Cole says, got it in prison that my Uncle Dan was barely paying attention. Would you understand, Mama Cole, when he smiled, like his whole face lit up, and he was showing me kind of, he was like, had those, like, you know, the kind of wrinkles by your eyes, and like smile lines. He's laughing, he goes, wrinkles. He's like, geez. And he also shows me that he had like a tooth kind of missing on the side, and he might have been a little bit self-conscious about it. Very thin build. He pretty much wore that leather jacket day in, day out. And he was a smoker. Mama Cole says, yes, and rotten as hell. Would you understand him saying not all apples can be good all the time? But I do feel from him that, you know, he tried to make his amends, and I just hear him say, you know, turn a new leaf, that he just want to, you know, do good is what he's saying. And would you understand, Mama Cole, that he drive like a Harley or a motorcycle at some point in his life, and basically he knew how to fix anything, or at least he goes, at least I tried. So Mama Cole says, yep, that's 100. Him smoked it all. And yes, he did. Mama Cole says, yep, even in the snow, kept it in the living room. So I do feel that I am with you, Mama Cole. Would you understand, because he was showing me that when you were little, it's like he shows me you standing or like coming into a room, and then like you would see him and he would just be like smiling, but were you kind of shy, like would hold back? I do, not that you were scared of him or anything, but just like this shyness. And he was just like, he would be like, hey there, hey, or like try to like give you like a treat or something. And when you were little, did you have like longer hair, kind of a little bit past your shoulders? I do feel from him that he was great around kids. Even though he seemed a little bit rough around the edges, in his heart of hearts, he was a good man. He says that he goes, well, he says, we're all good. He says, it's just, how you want to be. He says, in life, you have choices. He says, you got to pay attention to those choices. He says, you could either live he says, you could either live a hard, rough life. But he goes, if you do that, he says, you don't go and complain and say, poor me, because you have that choice to make things better. And he was making me feel that, like, when he was younger, he kind of got in that poor me stage. But he says that he had this, like, epiphany that, his life was never going to get better unless he made it. And that's what he did. Oh, Mama Cole says, he showed me true, safe love. And then she also says that, yes, he was a safe man, loved me tons. He just wants to say that he was just saying, he goes, I want you to know how proud I am. He says, you have been through trials yourself, but he says you always just pick the high road. So Mama Cole Ness says, yes, he was an immigrant son. It was just like he had to prove himself, and sometimes by that, he proved himself in the wrong way, but he learned from that. And he says that, he sees you and he sees the trials that you had to do yourself in this life, but he says you never let that beat you down, that you rose above, and he is so proud of you for that. He says that he loves how you help so many people in this life. And he says to stay true to your heart. He says, I'm free and I'm fine. And he says, and don't worry. He says, when you get to where I am, he says, we'll have a lot of good talks like we used to. I hope that you're able to resonate with the messages that he is leaving for you. I just want to thank you, Mama Cole, for being here. And I want to thank your uncle for coming forward. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight. And not only us in the physical, but those in the spiritual. So Mama Cole says, he always knew he was my first spiritual client when I was 20, and I helped him cross over a few years ago. He wants you to know, but I'm sure you already know this, how grateful he was for that. Even though I do feel for him, he was very brave. And he says, well, at least I tried to be. But, to have you there for him and helping him, guide him through. He says that you have a heart of gold. Always remember that. He says, even the times when you face things that you're like, I can't believe I have to do this. He says, that heart of gold you have guides you. And he says, and it draws people to you, the people that you help. He says that means more than anything. So he's so proud of you. And he says that, so I do feel that you still chat with him often, because he says, would you understand him saying, put the kettle on? He goes, I'm coming in for a visit. So I hope you know what he means by that. But I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you again for the support. I want to thank my son, Jonah, for helping me yet again, guiding your loved ones to me. thank you to Spirit for being here. Mama Cool says, tears, dang, so touched. Thank you so much. You're so welcome. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you so very much. And honestly, have faith and trust and know that your loved ones are here around you, cheering you on in this life. And just know it's never goodbye. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm glad that that went really good, Sarah. Good job.
Thank you.
And so I just wanted to say, if you got a reading with Sarah tonight, or you thought it was really awesome, please say something about it in the group. And like I said earlier, remember that we are also meeting in Discord. And if you're interested in joining us on Discord, please join us there if you happen to be on that platform. If you're not, maybe you want to check it out. It's a free social media of sorts. It has video and audio, so I'm hoping to be able to do readings on there eventually as we get everybody into a new platform. And if if you're interested in having a reading with Sarah, you can book right there at the website above my head, psychicinsights.life/Sarah Redcrow -2. Don't forget her son Jonah. And remember that if your loved one didn't come through today, it doesn't mean that they're not with you, or they're not listening, or they're not around. Sometimes some spirits only like to come through in private. And then also keep in mind that Sarah is only one human being, and there's only so many readings she can do in a night, right? Okay, so just saying.
Thank you.
You know, it's that human thing and all. So she can't do all the readings in one night. But if you book a reading, you get a whole hour with Sarah, and then you get to focus in on any of the spirits that you want to connect with and really get your messages down. So, all right, Sarah, did you have anything else you want to say?
I just want to say thank you, Hollis, so much for helping me do these lives. Thank you to everyone who's joined tonight. And yes, if you leave me a review, honestly, that means so much to me. You have no idea. So thank you all for your support and your love to me and my son, and to everyone at Psychic Insights. You're in good hands when you book with us.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And the beautiful thing is that we guarantee all of our readings, so you won't be wasting your money. We will always make sure that you're happy with your reading, and we'll refund you if you're not. Okay? All right, and we hope you book, and you can book with Sarah at Psychic Insights, and we look forward to seeing you next time. All right?
Thank you. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Are you seeking guidance on your spiritual journey? Need help with a vexing problem? Missing a loved one and looking for answers? Look no further than Psychic Insights, a small trusted psychic service offering mediums, psychics, and spiritual coaching. This service is managed by Hollis Taylor, a gifted psychic medium, astrologer, and a compassionate coach. We are dedicated to helping you navigate your spiritual awakening. At Psychic Insights, we provide medium readings and psychic insight to help you plan for tomorrow and make choices for today. Find the support you need, compassionate grief coaching, and astrological insights to help you spiritually grow and transform. Our professional services include well-managed schedules, recorded sessions, and reliable psychic mediums ready to facilitate your transformational experience. Discover more at psychicinsights.life.